Ever wondered how communities rejecting modern technology still believe in ancient superstitions? While Amish leaders preach against worldly beliefs, many families quietly practice rituals passed down for centuries. Burying horseshoes for luck, reading death omens in bird behavior, using spoken charms to heal burns, 10 superstitions that contradict their religious teachings but persist anyway. Hex signs on barns. Colorful circular symbols painted on barn walls are claimed to be merely decorative, but their placement follows specific patterns. The six-pointed stars, hearts, and geometric designs trace to Pennsylvania Dutch hex tradition protective symbols meant to ward off evil, prevent lightning strikes, and protect livestock. Each symbol supposedly prevents specific misfortunes. Eight-pointed stars bring abundance, hearts ensure livestock health, oak leaves represent strength, tulips promote faith. Specific colors matter: two red for protection, blue for spirituality, yellow for love. Pennsylvania Dutch origins trace these symbols to Swiss and German folk magic. Today's Amish insist hex signs are cultural decoration, not magical protection, yet their careful placement suggests otherwise. Burying objects for luck. Horseshoes get buried under doorsteps with points upward to catch and hold luck. The burial happens during construction before anyone lives there. Only family members know the location. Coins placed in foundations bring prosperity. The coin's date supposedly matters. Older coins carry more power. Some families use coins from significant years like weddings or births. Salt scattered around property boundaries protects against evil. The salt line must be continuous with no gaps. This happens after dark so neighbors won't see. Rituals during construction include pouring milk into foundations or placing religious verses inside walls, blending Christian practice with folk magic. Weather prediction methods. Reading animal behavior supposedly warns of weather changes. Cows lying down indicate rain coming. Horses turning rear ends to the wind means severe weather. These mix genuine patterns with pure superstition. Cloud formations carry meanings beyond science. Ring around the moon indicates snow, with stars inside revealing how many days until the storm. Moon phases controlling planting remain widespread. Root vegetables get planted during waning moon, above-ground crops during waxing moon. Despite no scientific basis, farmers religiously follow these rules. Woolly bear caterpillar bands predicting winter severity represents pure folk belief. Wide brown bands mean mild winters. Black caterpillars predict harsh cold. Healing through touch. Pow-wowing, the Pennsylvania Dutch term for folk healing, persists in Amish communities despite church disapproval. This practice involves specific people believed to possess the gift of healing through touch combined with spoken charms. The gift supposedly passes through family lines, inherited rather than learned, and practitioners often deny charging money to maintain the practice's spiritual rather than commercial nature. Specific people with the gift treat particular ailments. One person might heal burns, another stops bleeding, a third removes warts. The specialization suggests the gift is limited and specific, not a general healing power. Families know which healers handle which problems, traveling significant distances to access the right practitioner for specific ailments. Charms and spoken words accompany the healing touch. For burns, the practitioner might blow on the wound while reciting German verses, mixing Christian prayer and folk magic. For stopping blood, they speak specific phrases never written down, only transmitted orally while making hand motions over the wound. The exact words matter. Speaking them incorrectly supposedly neutralizes the healing power. Treating burns, warts, and bleeding represent the most common pow-wowing practices. Burn healing reportedly stops pain and prevents blistering when practitioners treat burns immediately. Wart removal involves touching the wart while speaking a charm, with the wart supposedly disappearing within weeks. Stopping bleeding works on both humans and livestock, with practitioners summoned for farm injuries and difficult births. Evil eye protection. Belief in curses from envious looks remains surprisingly common despite biblical teachings against such superstition. The evil eye supposedly comes from people who look at others' good fortune, healthy children, productive farms, successful businesses with jealousy and resentment. The envious gaze itself causes misfortune. Children sicken, crops fail, accidents happen. The belief creates paranoia, where success must be hidden to avoid attracting dangerous envy. Blue items warding off evil eye appear throughout Amish homes and farms. A blue cloth tied to a baby's cradle, blue bottles in windows, blue ribbons on horses' bridles, all supposedly deflect evil eye's power. Blue's protective quality traces to ancient Mediterranean beliefs that migrated through European folk traditions into Pennsylvania Dutch culture. The practice contradicts plainness principles, but families justify it as cultural tradition rather than superstition. Protective prayers and rituals get performed when evil eye is suspected. If a child suddenly sickens or livestock show unexplained symptoms, families might perform a water test, dropping oil into a bowl of water while speaking specific prayers. If the oil breaks apart, evil eye is confirmed, and further rituals attempt to break the curse. These ceremonies blend Christian prayer with folk magic, creating religious practices the church would officially condemn. Identifying who has the evil eye involves watching for certain personality traits and behaviors. People who compliment excessively, who seem interested in others' business, or who display jealous tendencies get suspected. Once identified, families avoid these individuals, refuse to discuss good fortune in their presence, and take protective measures when interaction is unavoidable. The suspicion creates social divisions based on superstitious fear rather than actual wrongdoing. Death omens. Birds hitting windows supposedly mean death approaching for someone in the household. The species matters. Black birds indicate immediate family, while other birds suggest extended relatives or close friends. Multiple birds hitting windows within short time frames predict multiple deaths. Families watch anxiously after such incidents, interpreting any subsequent death within months as confirmation of the omen. Clocks stopping at the moment of death occur often enough to reinforce belief despite logical explanations. When someone dies and the household clock stops simultaneously, families view this as meaningful rather than coincidental. Some believe the dying person's spirit stops the clock, marking the transition moment. The stopped clock gets noted in family records alongside death time, preserving the connection across generations. Dogs howling predict family death, particularly when dogs howl toward the house or at night with no apparent reason. The howling supposedly comes from dogs sensing approaching death before humans can. Families hearing dogs howl respond with mixture of dread and preparation, sometimes contacting distant relatives to warn them death is coming and urging visits while time remains. Preparing for predicted deaths includes practical and spiritual responses. Families might increase prayers for sick members, contact relatives about visiting soon, or begin subtle preparations like ensuring wills are current and burial clothes are ready. The preparations happen quietly, openly. Preparing for predicted death would seem morbid, but families take the omens seriously enough to act on them. Baby protection rituals. Never cutting a baby's nails before 1 year supposedly prevents the child from becoming a thief. Instead, mothers bite or tear the nails carefully when they grow too long. The superstition links cutting before the year mark to severing moral development, suggesting the child will grow up taking what isn't theirs. Most Amish mothers follow this rule even while admitting it seems silly. Garlic hung near cribs protects infants from illness and evil influences. Small garlic bundles wrapped in cloth hang discreetly from cradle corners or underneath the mattress where visitors won't see them. The garlic must be replaced regularly as it loses protective power when it begins drying out. Mothers believe this practice prevents colic, frequent illness, and nightmares. Not praising babies directly supposedly prevents attracting evil eye that causes the child to sicken. Visitors must not say, "What a beautiful baby," or compliment the infant's health, appearance, or temperament. Instead, if compliments must be offered, people say, "May God bless the child," or "a gift from the Lord," phrases that deflect potential evil eye by acknowledging God rather than the baby's qualities. Wearing specific colors for protection involves dressing infants in colors believed to deflect negative attention or evil influences. Red worn underneath outer clothing protects against evil eye. White signifies purity and divine protection. Blue provides general protective qualities. Mothers layer these colors in ways visitors don't notice, maintaining protective power while avoiding obvious superstitious displays. Agricultural superstitions. Planting by moon phases goes beyond the root, leaf distinction mentioned earlier. Each moon phase supposedly affects different aspects of plant development. The new moon favors starting new plants from seed. The first quarter supports leaf growth. Full moon benefits flowering and fruit setting. The last quarter is best for harvesting and storing. Some farmers track these phases as carefully as weather forecasts. Never working on certain days reflects multiple superstitious traditions. Some families refuse to plant on Fridays, believing Friday planting leads to crop failure. Others avoid starting major projects on the 13th of any month. Holy days obviously get avoided for religious reasons, but additional superstitious forbidden days get passed down through families without clear explanations for their origins. Blessing seeds before planting blends religious practice with folk ritual. Beyond simple prayer, some farmers perform specific seed blessing rituals, mixing seeds with holy water or soil from a church, speaking particular verses over seed bags, or having ministers bless seed collections. The practices make families uncomfortable when described as superstition, insisting they're simply asking God's blessing, yet the prescribed rituals suggest belief in specific procedures rather than simple prayer. Livestock breeding timing rituals extend beyond practical considerations of gestation length and birth timing. Some farmers believe breeding during particular moon phases produces stronger offspring or affects the sex ratio of litters. Others follow complex calculations based on the animal's age, previous breeding outcomes, and even weather patterns at conception. These beliefs persist despite scientific breeding programs that ignore such factors. Money and prosperity beliefs. Finding money supposedly means more money coming soon. Found money attracts more found money through some magnetic property of luck. The found money must not be spent immediately, but kept for at least one day to allow its luck-attracting power to work. Some families keep found coins permanently in jars or drawers, believing the collection draws more prosperity continuously. Specific coins bring luck based on their characteristics. Pennies with specific dates, birth years, wedding years carry extra power. Wheat pennies found on the ground are particularly lucky. Silver coins found anywhere represent exceptional fortune. Some families drill holes in lucky coins to wear them as jewelry hidden under clothing, keeping the luck close while avoiding obvious superstitious displays. Never giving away the last piece of something supposedly prevents that item from disappearing from your life entirely. The last egg from a clutch, last jar of preserves, last piece of fabric, all must be kept to ensure more of that item returns. This creates odd behaviors, like keeping tiny scraps of materials or single bites of food items preserved in jars or containers as seeds that will supposedly regenerate abundance. Threshold rituals, when moving, require specific actions to transfer luck from old home to new home. Families might carry soil from the old property to spread at the new house, take a broom from the old home to sweep the new one first, or bring fire from the old hearth to light the first fire in the new stove. These rituals ensure the family's accumulated luck travels with them rather than remaining at the abandoned property. Dream interpretation. Dreams as prophetic messages get taken seriously in many Amish households. Vivid dreams are viewed not as random brain activity but as communications from God, warnings about coming events, or messages from deceased relatives. Dream content gets analyzed for meaning rather than dismissed as subconscious processing. Specific dream symbols carry standard interpretations passed down through families. Dreaming of water suggests emotional turmoil coming. Dreaming of teeth falling out predicts death in the family. Dreaming of flying indicates upcoming positive changes. Houses represent the dreamer's life, with different rooms symbolizing different life aspects. These interpretation guides remain consistent across families, suggesting their cultural knowledge rather than individual invention. Sharing dreams for community interpretation happens informally between trusted family members and friends. A woman troubled by a disturbing dream might describe it to her mother or sisters, seeking their interpretation based on traditional symbol meanings and their knowledge of the dreamer's life circumstances. The collective interpretation process reinforces shared belief in dreams' prophetic nature. Acting on dream warnings happens when dreams seem particularly urgent or clear.